This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Track Farms. My buddies making their excellent CBD products. The key thing for me lately has been a workout recovery. And I know I talk about a lot of different things on these ads talking about CBD and what it helps me with. But recently I did a workout that was totally different. And if you ever have done that workout that's not in your normal mix, the next day you are a mess because you're so sore from using those muscle groups you don't use. And I turned immediately to CBD and felt a lot better. So I knew my body was doing its good repair, but I also knew I was able to take down some of the unnecessary inflammation and really try to help myself cope with that pain, and, you know, moving around just made it a little easier. So CBD is the way to go. And I've talked about so many reasons why. So just go check it out, people. It is track-farms.com/strangers. Enter the code strangers at checkout. You're going to get 15% off your order. And that stuff is awesome. All right, everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Strangers Worth Meeting podcast. And today we're starting to do some video with the podcast, which I think I'm going to make a regular thing. But today's episode is another remote episode. So welcome back to a remote episode with Brice and Teagan Sturmer of Marquette, Michigan. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm very excited to talk to the two of you, and you've got quite a story, and it seems like you're into a lot of various interesting things, which I think is the coolest way to be as a person. And so we'll get to hopefully dive into all that. But the main reason I found you guys is because you have a coffee shop out there in Marquette, which is called Velodrome Coffee Company. I'm sorry that I have not been yet. I just got to the area. But how did the coffee shop happen? Like, what was the inspiration for you guys in starting that up in the first place?
Well, she wanted me to move home.
Yeah, I wanted to move home. I'm from here. And we were living in Nashville at the time, and we liked it, but it was also getting to be very suffocating. I guess you could say it felt like everybody was moving to Nashville. And so I wanted to come home, and this is home for me. And at that point, there really was no coffee shop in Marquette. There was a couple, ones that had been around since forever.
Yeah.
But there were no, I don't really know what the
Craft.
Yeah, craft.
New wave.
Craft coffee places. And now there are a bunch. But, yeah, I guess that's kind of why we chose Marquette.
It seems like a real, that town has a vibe, that's for sure. Like, there's something happening in that town. I liked it. And when I say vibe, what I mean is it's a hipster space. Like, it feels like a very hipster place to be. But it's gorgeous. I mean, it's right on the water. The downtown is awesome, super busy. Actually, like kind of not my style, because there were just so many things going on, and I'm like driving around in my giant truck, like, okay, I can't fit anywhere. That was just my day out there. But I really liked it. We just swung by to run one quick errand out there, so we haven't gotten much time there. But this whole area in general is so cool. So Teagan, you grew up in like one of the coolest places for people who want to come visit. Like, we couldn't even get a spot to come out and come here when we wanted to because it was so busy. What is it like growing up in a destination zone?
Well, technically, I grew up like an hour south of here. So the town I grew up in definitely is not a destination zone. There's 2 bars and a Catholic church, and you miss it. Basically.
Oh, all right,
Like
okay.
the town I grew up in. But we would come to Marquette for all of our grocery shopping and errands and doctor visits. And I was born in Marquette, so it was always just the place. It was always the place where we would go as kids, if we wanted to go to a museum, or if we wanted to have a fancier date night kind of thing, with whatever. I think we came here once when our high school prom wanted to have a fancy dinner before prom. We drove the hour up to Marquette just so that we wouldn't have to go to the nasty bar on the corner kind of thing.
Yeah. I get that. You're describing the same type of childhood I had, by the way. It was the town that for me was half an hour from Champaign, Illinois, which still is not much of a town. But I get it.
Yep.
I get it.
Yeah. So, but I've always known that it's a really special place. because it's, it is such a destination. Like, so many people do come here, and I've always been super grateful that I get to call this place home because it's so special. I feel like, and it's the best time in the winter, honestly, when like the tourists aren't here as much, and you get to just like enjoy everything and also freeze your butt off. But it's still amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're mid-September and I'm pretty cold, you guys. This is a little much for me.
This is a little
nothing.
extra cold already this year, but
I know. This is the new thing is that since Andrea and I got in the RV, I don't really want to do a winter again. And like last year, we went to Tucson and it's like 60 degrees in January. I'm outside without a shirt on, just like soaking up desert sun. Like it's a magical thing to not have to do winter. But I also know some people are really into it, and I feel like you guys give off these like real cozy vibes. That make me think that maybe that's something you're okay with, like just warm coffee and embroidered niceties, and there you go.
Yep.
I get it. But where does the coffee enter into the story? Like, we must be big coffee fans to open up an actual coffee company.
yeah, I had been working in coffee for a while. When I was in nursing school, I started as a barista and got really into it. Realized that maybe with roasting, I could make it an actual career. So yeah, when we got married, I was roasting in Green Bay at a place called Luna Coffee. And so we lived in Green Bay for a bit, and then yeah, we went to Tennessee. I was trying to do music, didn't really work out, but I was working at a coffee place in the meantime. And as the music stuff started not working out, the coffee stuff started working out even more. And so I was kind of running a coffee company down there called Honest in Franklin, Tennessee. So with that, I got to learn a lot. And when she wanted to move back home, I was like, well, guess we'll start our own coffee company. Don't know what I'm doing, but let's do this. Let's buy a house at the same time up here. And
Yeah, looking back on it all, it's like, why did we, like, it's just crazy how it all actually worked.
Well, it seems like it worked. I like what you guys have going on. It seems really cool. And I do hope I get to stop by the coffee shop while we're here. But it's hard too because we come here and the to-do list is full. I mean,
Yeah.
the hikes we can
There's
go
a
on
lot.
here and the tours and the whatever. Oh my gosh, like that's not even the normal way we travel, but it's just like this. It's like, all right, here you've got 2 weeks, do as much as you possibly can, because it is so cool to be up here. Neither of us have ever been. So, but here's what I want to know. So, unfortunately, I'm not much of a coffee drinker, which is not by choice. My body seems to hate when I put coffee in it.
Fair. I hear you.
But I feel like and I've been told that means you're drinking the wrong kind of coffee. Like it means whatever about the roasting process or something that someone who's like a little more sensitive like me, that's my problem. So, do you have any advice for those of us who like love the experience of coffee but don't want to die when we drink it?
Is it just black coffee, or is it like, can you have lattes and that kind of thing?
I'm sure I could. Well, I mean I have in the past, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
But like I've got the stomach of like an 80-year-old man type heartburn. Like it's been a real journey for me in my life. I'm like barely tolerating tea as a person, because
Oh
we've
man.
we've changed like our whole lifestyle. But yeah, coffee was one of the first things I had to go because it was just like this just makes me feel terrible. So, but I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I must be.
Well, I maybe would try like a cappuccino or something, and maybe decaf. Sometimes people have pretty big aversions to caffeine, just don't know it.
Oh, okay.
So if you were to come in the shop, I would recommend that you order a decaf oat milk cappuccino. It's a
Ooh.
dairy-free alternative milk. It's really easy to tolerate and digest. A lot of people that aren't even lactose intolerant, like myself, I'm not,
Mhm.
but I prefer that oat milk because
It doesn't sit heavy.
yeah, dairy milk just like kind of sloshes and
Yeah.
feels gross in your stomach. I don't know. That's just how it's been for me.
Mhm.
And the oat milk is just light and still
Fluffy.
as delicious, fluffy. But yeah, and we sell more. We sell equal amounts of Oatly now as we do dairy milk at the shop. So it's becoming very popular.
That's cool. I tried to make it once and put it into a warm drink, and it turned
Yeah.
into slime. So I feel like I did something quite wrong, right? Because you like blend it up and you run it through the cheesecloth and you do the whole thing, and then it was just like coagulating for some reason. So I don't recommend
no.
that. Yeah,
No, don't make your own. We
I
leave
must
that
have
to
done
the
something wrong.
professionals.
Yeah. Yeah, they're putting something in that makes it like not do that like it happened to me.
Exactly.
But well, I would like to come by and do a decaf cappuccino with oat milk. Okay, yeah, I'll remember that.
Please, that'd be great.
That seems like good advice. Um, yeah, no, it's unfortunate. I like that we have a guest here now too, by the way, who I should acknowledge
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
Phoebe.
This is
Wonder if she
Phoebe.
can squawk for the mic.
She can
Lovely.
say hello. She's our one of our first children. I don't know where the other one is. He was right there. I don't know.
He missed.
He's fine. He's a big. Well, he's not that big, I guess. But he's
a
a
dog.
big white dog who just loves everyone. But I don't know where he is, and it's really surprising that she's actually the one who's cuddling with us right now.
Normally not the case.
She actually hates us.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. She had to wear a cone last week, and she's been trying to murder us ever since. So I don't know what's happening here. This might just be the calm before the
Maybe
storm.
you're making up, you know. Maybe it's no hard feelings and everything's cool now.
Just waiting for the opportunity to strike.
Pretty sure she holds grudges.
I've positioned the laptop strategically here so that you don't have to look at Andrea's guinea pig Mose, who is back there being a pain and probably will make sounds on this podcast. So luckily he has to stay in a small cage and he can't come climb on me because
Right.
he sucks. But well, okay. So the thing though that I'm thinking about with Velodrome, first of all, the name, which I had to Google and understand, I was like, I feel like I've heard this name before, but is a type of cycling arena, yes, of some sort.
Yep.
Where does that come from for you? Because I see bikes on your Instagram there, guy.
Yeah, we basically just like bikes a lot.
You like bikes a lot.
I like bikes a lot. You're
Yeah.
getting into it a little bit more now.
I like a nice little cruiser with a basket on the front.
Yeah, which,
Okay.
we've got the
Yeah.
UP version of that for you now. It's
Yeah.
just got a little bit bigger tires and has a lot of gears, but yeah, that's what you got. It's pink or purple.
It's pink, which I didn't want,
Well,
but it's fine.
we got
that's-
we like. Go ahead.
It's such a thing here. It seems like such a thing here. First of all, everybody has a bike. I mean, I can't pass by like a car that doesn't have a couple bikes on the back of it.
Mhm.
And then there's mountain bike trails and all that stuff. And even as I'm looking on Instagram, which is where I found you guys, I'm seeing a lot of the pictures that are tagged around here are people with completely frozen beards riding bikes in the snow, which
Yep.
that's a little mind blowing to me. But that's a thing here, I guess, right?
Your beard would look great with some icicles hanging from it.
It's
Let me
happened.
tell you.
It's happened and it's hardcore. It turns completely white. I took a picture once when I was out walking. I couldn't believe it. It's just full white. You turn into Santa Claus no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what we do all winter.
But why? Why though? And how? Also, how?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely the culture here, and honestly, it's funny. Like we had the concept for Velodrome and the bike flair to the brand before we really understood the depth of biking in Marquette. So
She's gonna.
Sorry, she's crawling over the microphone.
Just go.
But yeah, so the biking is huge here. We have some world-renowned trails. We have some really, really popular races now. But the main thing is you can bike all year. So in the spring, we do a lot of road riding because the snow melts off that first. Summer and fall is all mountain bike, and winter is fat biking. And you just do them all. And yeah, everyone seems to be somehow connected to the bike community or the trails or something like that.
And you don't fall down. What I don't understand is how you're not sliding all over the place. Because I can take my motorcycle out on a clear road, and all of a sudden you'll just like fall down. Like that just happens. But if you're like riding in snow, this is what I don't understand. You're just like on the ice.
Well, it's up here. It's really nice because we had a ton of snow. Like I don't even know how much we get.
So much.
Hundreds of inches of winter, and it usually sticks around from I don't know Thanksgiving to
Well, like Halloween to the 1st of May.
Oh god.
it can be on the ground and not melt for that long. You know.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, it's brutal. I mean,
The thing is if you decide to live here,
Yeah.
you need to find some type of outdoor recreation, or else you will go crazy.
Yeah.
Because you'll
And
be
take
stuck
a
inside your
vitamin D
house.
supplement too. And
Yes.
just actually that's hilarious.
Yes. Yep.
Just learned that she needs that.
I was just prescribed one of those by my doctor.
And
It's
summer.
crucial. It's
and
crucial.
it's summer, right?
I heard this doctor who I really like talking about vitamin D, and I'm obsessed with all this stuff. We're really into health. This is kind of our thing. But he said something about how even if you were to stand like butt naked outside all day for 6 months of the year, if you are above Atlanta, Georgia, if you're north of Atlanta, Georgia, you still will not get enough vitamin D that your system wants. Like
Whoa.
that's how intense it is. That's how much you need, and the fact that people
Dang.
aren't taking it. I've got my whole family taking it, like especially when COVID hit, and I was like, I'm talking to all of them. I'm like, you got your vitamin D though, right? Like you're taking it because they're starting to find all these links with COVID, and it's a
Right.
good one. So I'm glad
Yep.
you're starting to take it. That's important up here.
Yeah.
I get that. But yeah, you do. You have to find a way to go outside. We've been braving it a little and got the winter clothes out, which we didn't keep many of. But we've been getting out there. But you guys have stars here, and that is the part that I'm really into. So that's been the best thing I think about being kind of away from big cities and things like that. You just get that all the time. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. If you guys, well, I don't know what's on your list while you're here, but one of our favorite places lately has been called the Mouth of the Huron. It's like a little locals only kind of camping spot, and it faces the North Shore. Like it faces Lake Superior, and there's nothing. You're looking out over Lake Superior, and you're not near any big cities or anything. And it's
Nothing.
just, I think that spot is just so amazing for the stars and everything
Mhm.
else you can see.
What is that called again? Because I'm gonna write
The
it down.
Mouth of the Huron. If you Google it, it'll actually pull up, and you can just drive right out there. But it's
Nice.
unbelievable out there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Andrea busted her camera out and did some astrophotography, and she got like the Milky Way going over the top of the RV and everything,
Oh.
and it's pretty cool.
Wow.
She's into all that stuff. But okay, so you guys, I can't help it. You do a lot of different things, so there's a lot of things I was curious about and wanted to ask about. And another one of those, obviously, Teagan is, and you were the person I actually reached out to because you do all of this embroidery, which is something I know nothing about. And I would love to learn about that. When did you start doing this? Something you've always done?
Yeah. So growing up, I was really close with both of my grandmothers, and both of them were seamstresses in their own way. So one was really big into quilting and sewing clothes and all that kind of stuff, and the other one was really big into quilting and embroidery and knitting and crochet and blah blah blah. So like it's kind of like in the genes, I guess, to pick up a needle and thread. So I've been doing embroidery since I think I got my first kit when I was like 8 maybe, and it was garbage. Like obviously it looked horrible.
Was it one of the ones that has the design on it and you stitch like over
Mhm.
top of the drawn lines? Yeah.
Yeah. But as an
I've
8-year-old,
done it.
like I couldn't do it, and also I didn't have the patience for it because I was 8. So then I just kind of like throughout the years I would like sometimes do it and then get like annoyed with it and then sometimes come back to it. But I also hated the idea of like doing like following the rules. Like I didn't want somebody to tell me how to stitch something. I wanted to do it myself. So then after we got married, I picked it up again, and stopped and didn't follow anybody's patterns. I was like, I'm just gonna do this for myself, and it might look horrible, or it might look great. And the first one looked horrible, and the second one looked pretty horrible, and the third one looked not so horrible. And then I just started to just like really get into it, and then I had people start coming to me, like friends, and they were like, we want you to do this and we'll pay you $20. And I was like, cool, I guess. And then I had a friend get married, and she was like, I want you to stitch my wedding bouquet. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I saw it on Pinterest and I think you could do it. And I was like, I guess I could try. So I tried, and it took me like 40 hours, and it was like really intense, and I posted it on Instagram, and I've never stopped stitching wedding bouquets since.
How do you stitch a bouquet? I don't understand it. Like, is it a 3D something? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, so, well,
Should I go look?
I don't have one.
Oh, you
I don't have one.
Oh
I don't
my
have
gosh.
one done right now.
I've got your Instagram. I can go find one.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
Probably, right?
they're not like they're not like the actual bouquet a bride's going to hold while she walks down the aisle.
Okay.
They're like a replica. So a lot of brides like to save their bouquets, you know, because it's cute. We did. I saved my bouquet, and then when we moved to Nashville, somebody threw it away. I'm not gonna name any names here, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
you tossed my wedding bouquet.
This is moldy.
It was not moldy. It was dry, and I wanted to keep it. Anyway, so that happens to a lot of brides. A lot of husbands throw out wedding bouquets.
Yeah, get married, and that's done. Now I can just throw this away.
Is it like a portrait of the bouquet like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's super
Yep.
cool.
So brides will send me like their professional wedding pictures of their bouquets, and then I take the picture and make a pattern and stitch it so that they have something to remember their wedding bouquet by if their husband throws their wedding bouquet away.
I've never heard that element. The hostile element to your brand.
I'm not allowed. I try not to throw things away without asking first, but luckily, we don't own that much stuff anymore. I think that's a really, really the nice part of like tiny living is like there's just not that much stuff around that I need to throw away anyways. So
That is nice.
just a pro tip. Yeah. Minimalism is the best way to stay out of trouble as a husband. I think in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it's really, really important. When did you guys get married?
2014. So 6 years ago. Yeah, we just celebrated our
13th.
we just celebrated our 6th wedding anniversary last
congratulations.
Sunday. Thank you.
Nice. Well done. I've just hit the year mark last month, but we have been together for over 7 years, so it's like one of those things. No one what's the funniest thing is no one told us happy anniversary. No member of our families, and I don't blame them. I think it's hilarious actually because I hate holidays. But I was just like, I wonder if we'll go the whole day, like, and then we'll make it tomorrow. They all remembered the next day, but
yeah, same. I had one aunt text me. Aunt. And then everybody else the next day was like, "Oh shit, happy anniversary!"
Yeah,
like,
but I don't blame anybody, and also it's chaos out there right now. Like nothing makes any sense, and everybody's like, nobody knows what day it is. Like we're pretending we know it's September 21st. Like that means anything. Like it's not just still March, and we're like, what are we gonna do in 2020? Like it's we still don't know what we're gonna do in 2020.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you guys have to shut down Velodrome for a while, or was it open the whole time?
Yeah, we closed on March 25th or 20 something around. Yeah, something around March 25th. We closed everything down. We were still roasting. We had to lay everyone off, which was the worst part.
Yeah.
But then let's see. We were closed all of April, pretty much. I was just doing roasting online, and we had a couple wholesale accounts that were still ripping, some grocery accounts. But then we opened up for the pickup window on May 1st. So we have like a little window that faces the sidewalk. We just add some vinyl things that said pickup window.
That's
we brought
nice.
back some staff and ripped that, and that was really awesome. And then June we opened the cafe again for seating and everything. People just have to wear a mask when they come in until they sit down. But yeah, then August was our best month ever. So it's been a weird year, and we'll just keep doing what we can.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to say what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I don't know. I don't know what the end of this looks like. I saw a post of yours, Teagan, where you were talking about just like trying to focus on the positive aspects of this, and that's what I've been on the whole time because I'm like, I could easily just focus on the negative stuff, but instead I've been talking about how people are gonna work more remotely, like RV industry, because we're working with the RV industry is doing really well. A lot of people are buying RVs and realizing they can travel all the time and travel all over and whatever. So I think there's good things that can come of this. But I also don't have kids, so I don't see them have to, deal with online classes every day and miss out on a huge part of being a kid, or parents who have to stay home. Yeah, this is a weird time, but I don't know. I'm always of the belief though that like the harder the time, the better the people that come out of it. And I feel like sometimes I look around and I'm like, I'm kind of glad things are hard for a second because I think that makes people better. And I don't think
Mhm.
enough people subject themselves to hardship on a regular basis to become a better, nicer, kinder, whatever person.
Yeah.
Um, things are comfy. People just turn really shitty. So
Yeah.
Yep, that's accurate.
Yeah,
should be good.
I was reading something online the other day that somebody was interviewing like some guy who was like 102 or something. He was really really old, and they were asking him like, um, it's everything's horrible right now. This is the hardest time we've ever faced in the history of the world. And the older guy was like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, I lived through, and he just like listed off all of these things. And I think you're right. I think especially our generation really hasn't faced anything that horrible. We didn't live through the world wars. We didn't live through, what have you. This might just be our like icky thing that we have to deal with and see through and hopefully come out the other side as better humans.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the one thing I do wish is that I wish that during a hard time, I think usually hard times make people more unified. And the tougher thing right now is it feels like this hard time is making people more divisive, and everything is
Yeah.
about a really divided sense of things. I mean, you look back on any of the so we could easily like sit down and list the big bullet points of that 100-year-old man's life, because he would have been born just on the tail end of World War One. He would have seen the Great Depression. He would have seen the Second World War. He would have seen Vietnam and Korea. He would have seen the Civil Rights Movement.
So, yep.
I mean, and then he would have seen 9/11, and those would be. I feel like those are probably the keystones, right? What am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing.
Oh, he would. I
massive
mean, he
things.
probably would have seen the Spanish flu.
Spanish flu,
pandemic.
right,
Yeah.
which everybody's talking about now, and each of those things, I don't know how they all went down, but I know that the majority of those things, the way we look at them now, is that they brought Americans together, they brought people together, closer together, more unified, and I do think this is looking like the opposite right now, and that feels unfortunate. Actually, what it feels like is there's two factions unifying really well instead of
Yeah.
like one.
Yeah.
Which is me, because I'm the most smack dab in the middle of any argument you could ever have person. Because I'll like nuance any argument down until it's just like, oh, now this is a really moderate view of everything. But
Yep.
but yeah, so I guess that's the only thing that I'm waiting to see that turn of like, all right, people will come together again and things
Yeah.
will calm down, and hopefully we all unify through the hard thing. We should be.
Yeah.
This sucks for all of us, right?
Right.
No one's saying it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has gotten far afield, hasn't it?
That's okay.
How does this relate to embroidery? I don't have a good segue. Okay, but I want to know more about the embroidery. The funny thing is, I have done embroidery as a kid. My mom was very good about making sure we did a bunch of things. I can sew my own clothes now if I put a hole in something, so that's great. And I had those patterns. It was like there was one with like a football and a baseball on it, and it was just the little lines, and you just made X's all the way up and down to make the shapes. I don't think I ever finished it because the patience of an 8-year-old, is
Right.
Is what it is.
Non-existent. Yep.
Right. What do you do when you're doing this? Like, do you have to be like in the zone? Like, I always wonder when people are kind of in that, in their flow state with their thing. Like, what do your surroundings look like?
I usually just sit in the living room on our couch and listen to a podcast or an audiobook, or I have The Office playing in the background just so that I kind of have like, some white noise happening. Plus I know every episode by heart most.
We don't talk enough about this. Everybody's playing The Office all the time, right?
Yeah, it's always in the background.
Everybody's
It's
got
like
The Office.
Millennials radio.
What is it?
Millennials radio.
Yeah, and I think it's because we do have all those episodes memorized. It supposedly makes people less anxious. It like calms anxiety because you know what's going to happen. There's no surprises coming your way. That's it. It's just.
I love that.
That's such a terrible thing to think. Like,
No, but it's
We've
like,
just watched it so many times.
it's true though.
yes, you're like, oh, this moment's so dramatic. Just kidding. I know what's going to happen. Like, I know Michael's going to get out of this.
Yeah, what Michael?
Right. I know Jim and Sam are gonna get together. It's fine.
They're going to be all right. Yeah. Oh, they're fighting now. All right, they're going to be fine, and she's going to move to Philly. It's going to be fine. Yeah, no, but that's a real thing. Okay. So, but I'm with you. Like I'm the type of person that when I'm doing anything, it doesn't matter. I need something going, and I like to
Yeah.
take in information like an audiobook or a podcast or something.
Hmm.
What kind of stuff do you like to listen to? Like, do you like podcasts and audiobooks that are all about learning stuff, or more like fiction, or
Um, well, all the audiobooks are definitely fiction. I I'm a writer, so I try to take in as many books that are in like the same genre that I write in as I can, because it's really good for a writer to also be reading. Um, so yeah, all fantasy, usually like middle grade or young adult fantasy fiction, because that's what I like to write. And then for podcasts, I usually listen to. I basically just have one or two that I really listen to. So the one that I listen to for the most part is My Favorite Murder, because I love that so
okay,
much.
okay.
And then the podcast Lore. I don't know if do you know. Are you familiar with Lore?
No, I'm not.
So Lore is basically it's like have you listened to it?
A little bit.
I'm just seeing if I can like say what it is in good words. It's like basically this guy, he does a bunch of research on like folklore, and then gives you the information, and also gives you the information that would maybe make it true.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
like that.
So like fairies, for instance, he'll say like he'll give you like a story about like a true story about a guy who was walking in Ireland and ran across what he thinks is a fairy hill, and then like 20 years later they try to build a road through this hill, and for some reason all the workmen die,
Yeah,
like
okay.
mysteriously, and you're like,
Yeah.
what? Don't be messing
Hmm.
with those fairies, I guess. Like,
I like that kind of stuff. I love that stuff because I think we look at mainstream science way too closely, and we're like, this is what it is. We know everything that's out there, man. Like we have a real clear view of things. But then there's stuff that happens all the time that we can't explain,
yep.
even within
Mm-hmm.
science. Like I will go down the quantum physics rabbit hole on YouTube and be like, we don't know anything. Like
No, we don't.
we don't know anything. The one I was just the one I just heard on a podcast I was listening to is about how the phenomenon of how people know when they're being stared at, even when there's no reason they should know that, and it's like statistically significant that we know we're being stared at. And the other one is when dogs know that their owners are coming home. Like, and it doesn't matter if the owner comes home at a different time, on a different route, on a different mode of transportation. Like, like the dog will start to respond knowing that its owner is close in proximity, which I think is crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Remus does that for sure. When he
Oh
knows
yeah.
that when he knows you're home, he'll
We just
like
don't know anything. We don't know.
no, we
We don't
don't know
know
anything.
shit. We don't know what we're talking
Nope.
about.
There's a lot going on that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yep, I would agree. There are
Yeah.
fairies. I believe it.
Did you have
Especially
you seen the new? Andrew's obsessed with this movie Eurovision, the Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams movie on Netflix.
okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh! This is
okay.
the movie.
So we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it, but we were in Edinburgh, Scotland while they were filming, and we saw them filming.
No way. That's
A
cool.
Yeah.
couple of times, yeah. And then there was
Yeah.
one night we were walking and they had a bunch of streets closed, and
Yeah, we were walking back to our Airbnb, and there were all these streets closed, but the quickest way to get to our Airbnb was to walk that way anyway, and we were like, well, we aren't in a car, so we're just going to walk this way. And there were all these, like, movie trailers and all these people, and it was so cool.
We looked it up, and yeah, it's the
Yeah,
movie they were shooting.
it was Eurovision. We haven't watched it yet.
You
I
have
don't
to
know
watch
why we
it.
haven't watched it yet. But we
Yeah,
we
you've
need
got
to.
to watch it. Yeah, I'm thinking of when they would close all the streets, and there is specifically a scene with a car doing things in Edinburgh, Scotland, driving around
Yes.
crazy, and I won't give anything away, but yeah, it's an important part of the movie.
Yeah, they drive up Victoria Street where all those colorful buildings are.
Yep.
Yeah, the Diagon
Oh
Alley
yeah,
Street.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Is it out on Netflix or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, movie night again.
Movie night.
Yeah, this sounds like a movie for you two because we're talking about fairies. I mean, and their fairies feature significantly in this movie. It's a really important part of the plot.
Oh.
So yeah, it's a
Okay,
great
we'll
part
have
of
to
the
watch
plot.
it.
No, Andrea's
All right,
hooked on
we'll
this
have to-
movie. She's been listening to the soundtrack like crazy. Like she loves this, like the final song, and it's awesome. It's a great song. But yeah, It's a big
Does
it
Will
was a big hit.
Ferrell sing in the movie?
Yes.
Can
Can he sing?
Yes. I think
What?
here's the thing. I have so many theories about this, but you hear Will Ferrell's voice and you can't help but laugh. There's something about that guy that is just hilarious. He's just a hilarious
Yep.
person, and he has been from day one. And the second he showed up on SNL, everybody went nuts, and he stole the entire show. He's just hilarious.
Yeah.
When he sings, you want to laugh because it seems like he's doing an impression of somebody funny singing, but he's got and some of the movie is like that, where it's like it's clearly for comedic effect, but Rachel McAdams is singing really beautifully. But
Yeah.
there are moments where they let him sing. He's just singing, and you still kind of want to laugh just because you know it's Will Ferrell, but he's doing quite a good job. So, I mean, it's just hard to say. But I think they designed a character really well that like matched. You can't help but laugh, but like he's also this character perfectly who's trying. I don't know. You should go watch it. It's good. You like
Okay.
it.
I'm excited.
We'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is the exact kind of thing I'm saying, which is I love going down these rabbit holes, but then I'm like, I have no earthly idea what we were talking about before this. Because I could talk about Eurovision for a very long time. It was a fascinating movie. It's a really great movie, but I also don't want to give it away. You just have to watch it for the fairies. That's good.
Okay.
I'm excited.
But the thing I don't get, and frankly, and I've admitted this on the show, is murder podcasts. Because, and I had a
I love murder.
I had a guest on who started a news show. He's a retired.
Sorry, Remus is.
Our dog is trying to
chasing
eat our cat.
Stop.
Okay,
Stop.
cool.
There, we're good.
I thought that was either you or my whole home was about to roll on its side for a minute.
Nope.
So I did an interview with a guy who creates a podcast called True Crime Takedown, and he goes and researches stories of all these things that have happened, and he's former law enforcement, so he's like really into all the details of exactly how they solve these cases and different things like that.
Wow.
And we talked at length about murder podcasts, and do you not feel like completely creeped out as you're listening to those? Like, does it not make you paranoid and feel like every person you pass on the street is probably like a psychopath who's following you home? Like,
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It definitely does.
and that's fun though. That's fun for you.
It's interesting.
Okay.
I definitely don't listen to them if Brice is going to be like gone for an extended period of time.
Fair enough.
But I've always, like, since I was a kid, I've always loved like Criminal Minds and Law and Order and CSI. Is it CSI? Yeah, CSI and NCIS. Like, I've always loved those. Those aren't true crime because they're all fiction, but like those kinds of shows. And so I don't know who got me on to My Favorite Murder, but they told me what it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to listen to that right now. And I just like binged it, and then couldn't sleep that night. But it's fine.
Out of what? Out of fear or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like afraid that somebody was gonna break into my house and murder me.
But do you watch horror movies too?
No. I watched the only horror movie I've watched in like the last 15 years. It was Midsummer, and I don't even think you can really call that a horror movie.
Why is that?
Well, it was too like
I've seen this movie. It's an A24 movie, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're awesome. Like they make some really really cool stuff. Like I'm obsessed with them. Like Uncut Gems was just fantastic to me. And they just made a movie about Boys State, which is this weird thing from the Midwest that you guys probably haven't heard about. It's from the South.
Mm-mm.
Don't worry about it. I didn't go to this thing in high school. It's fine. It's this thing where boys in the summer go to this like camp kind of that you apply for, and you like run for office. It's like a mock government.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
I heard of it when I was growing up.
Oh, is that the movie that just came out with like Robert Pattinson?
No, they did a documentary I think about it. I think it's real people. As far as I know, it's real people. Yeah, real kids. But it's
Wow.
like a big deal down in Texas and things like that. It's
Interesting.
it can like make someone's career. Like it's wild. But yeah, what were Midsummer? Yes, so I've seen this, but what?
Yeah.
It's-
I didn't feel like I never felt okay. Horror to me is like being scared, I guess, and I never felt scared when I was watching Midsummer. I felt gross, and I felt like I don't know what the word is.
Is it like a thriller?
Have you seen Midsummer?
No.
Oh, I never felt scared, but I definitely felt like grossed out and disturbed.
There's like dead bodies and stuff.
Yeah,
But it's not scary.
But what happens? Because I'm not gonna watch
Oh.
it. I'm way too big a pussy to
So
watch that movie.
basically, it's I don't know if you know the actress Florence Pugh. She's amazing. I'm obsessed with her.
Kind of.
Okay, so it's her. She and like her fiance and some of their friends go to Sweden in the summer and take part in this like cultic midsummer like maypole, like all
Yeah,
those
okay, sure.
traditions.
But that seems like a happy time to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's so pretty. The film is so pretty. Like flowers and white dresses and this beautiful like Swedish landscape. But then it's like all these rituals that are just like deeply, deeply disturbing.
Like human
Because they're
sacrifice type stuff?
Yes.
Or
Exactly.
okay.
And it gets
That's
a little
dark
like
stuff.
psychological.
And it gets very psychological.
Yeah.
There are moments where you're watching it and you're focused on Florence and what she's doing, but then in the background, like all this crazy shit is happening and you aren't really paying attention to it, but the fact that it's still happening is like freaking out your subconscious.
That's freaky.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Just like show me the nasty thing or don't. Don't like try to get in my brain and like scramble things around. That's messed up.
It does that. Yeah.
I kind of want to watch
You're
it
just
now with your
wondering.
recommendation.
Yeah.
being
I
honest.
will never watch it again. I will never watch it again.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing for me with horror movies is I'm an adult grown man and I will still walk through my dark home, admittedly small now, at night, and I will be convinced that everything is the scary monster that I just saw or the killer who's outside the window or whatever. So
Yeah.
am I going to get those vibes from this? Probably not. It sounds like, right?
No.
Well, perfect. I can handle that then.
Send it.
Yeah. I mean, don't go to Sweden in the summertime,
Yeah.
I guess. And don't join a Swedish cult
Yeah,
in the
just stay
summertime.
away from cults. That's
Just stay away from
Generally-
cults in
like,
general.
Generally,
practice.
cults are bad. I've just recently been learning about like the Aztecs and like human sacrifice that they used to do, and like how they were sacrificing like tens of thousands of people, and they would like fatten them up first before sacrificing them, and like
Yep.
this was a thing. We don't really recognize the genocides that happened like pre-history that we really know, but there's some dark stuff. Humans
Yeah.
are capable of some things, man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
There's some doozies.
It's still happening.
Yep.
There's still cults out there. There's still
Oh, yeah.
plenty of cults out there. And we're
Yep.
all susceptible for some reason. There's still something built into, I think all of us to an extent, that if it was the right cult at the right time in your life,
Oh yeah.
in the right circumstance, there you go.
Yep. Yep.
Ugh.
I think that's why it's so interesting to like learn about them and stuff, because you hear the stories of how people get involved, and it's like, yeah, I guess if I was in that situation,
Yep.
I could be there too.
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
that's a rabbit hole I go down plenty on Netflix, is like documentaries about cults
Yeah.
and different cult leaders. I think the Bikram yoga one was pretty cool, how he was making this into a cult and taking advantage of everybody. But that was way less culty. The one that did it, shoot, I don't remember the name of this, but it was like the dude who had his whole group putting on these like intense ballets where he was like the star of the ballet all the time.
Oh.
And the way they like systematically cut you off from your family, God, even Scientology, like the Scientology movie and everything, that's so freaky stuff, man. Gets culty, but then we do all these things that are totally culty, and we don't recognize them. Like religion can be quite culty too, and so can being all spiritual, and so can over affiliating with a political party. Like it's all just culty shit. You just like do what someone else says to do. Messy. But you two seem like a couple of free thinkers up here in the UP, making it work, homesteading.
Good try.
Yeah,
We try. Yep. We try.
I like that. I like that spirit. And you've lived all over the place, which is also an important thing, because I'm hearing some Wisconsin, I'm hearing some Tennessee. Like it seems like you've been around. You've seen some things.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
to travel a lot last year with doing coffee consulting and working on coffee roasters all over the place, so it was really nice. Been there's not many states I haven't been to.
Yeah, that's true. And we've gone to, well, this is the first summer for the last couple years that I won't be going to England and Scotland, which is a huge bummer.
What is it that
Really
you go
upset about
for in the summers?
Well, I usually go in the late summer after all the tourists. Oh, that was our cat again. After all the tourists have left. Plus the tickets are a lot cheaper if you go in like the late summer. But I actually have a really good friend who lives in England, in the countryside, in a little stone cottage. It's the cutest thing in the world. And I go stay with her for free for like 2 weeks, and it's the best. And she's a travel tour
Blogger.
guide blogger lady, so she knows all the places, and she takes you to all the places, and for free usually because she has like all the little tickets and inns and stuff. So, and then also like all of my heritage is from like England and Scotland, so I love just going, and I'm a big history nerd.
It's your writing inspiration.
It's
too.
yeah, it's also my writing inspiration. A lot of my writing. So the book that I have that's finished and is currently being cycled around to agents and publishers takes place in Scotland. So it was like also a research trip, I guess.
So tell me more about the types of books that you write, because I didn't get a full picture of what you're writing about.
I mainly write middle grade fantasy, like magical realism, maybe, where the story is set in our world, but kind of like Harry Potter, you know how like the story is set in our world, but also there's like another world kind of happening like inside it. So I don't want to liken myself to J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter because that sounds like kind of snotty. But it's in the same vein, I would say, of those. Yeah.
How many books is this now? This is your what book?
So this book that I have finished and I'm trying to get published would be my first like novel.
You have your craft.
Okay.
But I have I did publish a craft book, like an embroidery book, this summer through a publisher that was also based in the UK. So that's cool. So yeah, technically it would be like my second published book if it ever gets published, please God. But it would be my first novel.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
And you primarily work from home, or you only work from home, really, right?
I don't leave my house.
Ever.
Even without COVID.
Yeah,
even before COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
Brice,
theater.
Yes,
you're
unless it was theater.
so Brice, are you at the coffee shop on the daily? Is that your
Yeah.
place?
Yeah, we have an office there. We have roastery that's off site now, and like I guess when we started, I always just envisioned being like working behind the bar every day. But as I took a business partner on, and we've been doing a little bit of real estate stuff, like I guess not necessarily real estate, but we've been buying properties and that sort of thing. We kind of are just more classic entrepreneurs now, I'd say.
There you go.
So I go to the office now and handle whatever it is, our coffee company, our wholesale stuff, or property management stuff, whatever it needs to get done.
You guys do have quite the entrepreneurial spirit, and I feel like the main way you can tell that is just by how many things you have going on.
Yeah,
'Cause, like-
just push on all of it till something
Yeah.
works.
That's like the real entrepreneur thing is just like, I'm just gonna you want to have your eggs in a lot of baskets and just like continually try to build on those things. But I relate a lot to that. That's the same way that Andrea and I are, and that's how we've always been. But at the same time, it's hard to keep yourself sane while you're doing that, and it's also, I think that one of the hard. Yeah, I heard somebody laugh there. But it's also hard to. I think one of the main reasons is that when you make your life around all these different projects and these things you can continually be working on, you can continually be building on social media, or you could be working on a book or an embroidery project, or you could be improving your coffee, or you could be looking at property, whatever it is. And my list is similar in that there's, oh my God, there's so many different things I could be working on right now. When do you stop working? And what does stop working really look like? And then what does working look like? Because if you're doing things you like, it doesn't really feel much like work.
Yeah.
We just don't have those same divisions that I think other people are able to have, where it's like, yeah, this is work time and this is me time. blessing and a curse, I guess, right? I mean, that's how I feel about it, at least.
Always on, but loving it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we try to sneak away once in a while, but it's nice having a business partner. I will say that it's just like huge, and I couldn't do anything without Paul. But having the ability to be like, hey man, we're gonna be gone all weekend. I'm gonna have my phone off. Kind of figure it out. That helps a lot. Remus, shh,
No
quiet
whining.
boy.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what your business partner doesn't do when you disappear for a week.
Right.
That's the nice thing about a business
Right.
partner, because they have that vested interest in the business just as much as you do, and so they want to solve things in the best way possible also, and you know that that's happening. That's something I don't have, which is except that I do have Andrea, so she takes
Yeah.
care of the things I need. But yeah, it can be kind of exhausting. But what do you guys do when you're trying to like actually unwind from all that then?
I mean, for me, my writing is okay. It's part of my entrepreneurial, how do we say that word? Like spirit, but also it's how I relax. Because I've been writing for my whole life, and it's always been it's always been my therapy. So even if we get away for the weekend, I'm still bringing all my notebooks and my laptop just so that I can still keep writing. So writing might be a work thing for me, but it's also how I unwind. I feel like it's kind of both.
I definitely would have pictured you as a typewriter writer, because I feel like you guys have so much style. Like you couldn't help it, but be like, I need to be on a typewriter, like doing this.
I
old
wish.
school.
You wouldn't.
I wish. If I had one, man, I would
probably
totally.
would.
But also, you can't send publishers typewritten pages. You have to send
Right.
things digitally. So
Yeah.
it's just easier and faster.
Yeah, I think there's apps now that'll scan things and turn like a typed page
Don't tell me
into.
this.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Oh, that's
so.
magic.
I guarantee this is a thing. I used to have a typewriter, but it was kind of, I don't know, it takes a lot of time to upkeep that thing,
Yeah.
and it's just like, unless you're using it every day and you have plenty of reels of ink and stuff like that, it's kind of difficult to work with. But it's nice, like if you're gonna send a letter or something, people like it's like a little more care into it. Because
Yeah.
if I handwrite something, they won't be able to read it if I send someone something that's
Right, right.
handwritten. It's like completely impossible. I was like writing yesterday outside. I was just like taking some time, just like sitting outside, doing some writing, thinking about some things, and it was just nonsense. I can't read it really when I look at it now, which is kind of unfortunate. But I think I've forgotten how to write, actually, handwrite things. This is just Yeah.
Why would you? It's like,
Yeah.
I barely ever write anything on paper anymore. I finally just had some like scratch paper that I put next to my desk and I use. But yeah, same thing. I'll write a whole meeting down on one of those and then get done with it and be like, cool.
Yeah.
What does this say?
right. Yeah, that's why now now Andrew and I, when we're out, we're just recording on everything basically, so I don't have to worry about it, and it's all gonna become part of the vlog we're doing now or whatever.
Nice.
So I don't have to worry about my deep thoughts. They can just go in a podcast and I can be done with them. Go listen to it later.
Yep.
Yeah, but you guys do have a ton of style, and that was something that I'm always jealous of people with style, because I don't really feel like I have any style. But between you've got the Instagram, Teagan, your Instagram is obviously gorgeous, and it's this whole
Thank you.
it's so well curated. It's just like a gallery. like
It is a
kind of
gallery, that's
like
a good
fuck
word.
you just a little bit, because it looks too good. Because I don't know how because you've got that sense, you've got that Instagram sense, you know that, right? Like some of us sit here and use Instagram, like I can post a picture and I can kind of make them look the same. You look at the feed, it's still nonsense, but you've got the vibe that's like, this is what Instagram's supposed to look like. And I think that's really kind of a cool thing.
Thank you.
And you guys have done that with Velodrome too. Like it's such a stylized thing. And then I also
That's Amy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all Amy.
My
yeah.
business partner's wife is also awesome at doing the curated wonder.
She's
Just
like
has
a
that
photographer.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing I noticed about Velodrome specifically is that all the people who are tagging that location or the profile, they all have like interesting creative things going on. Like you guys have built a hub of where some really cool people are in there, and they're taking cool and interesting pictures at Velodrome or whatever. Like you've built kind of a culture there, and I was curious how that came about? Is that just a thing? You opened the cool coffee shop and all the cool creatives show up, or did you do something to bring them?
That's a good question. I think it was more just the natural progression of things. I think like we tried deeply to highlight artists and work with art in like we have an 800 square foot shop, so we are not going to be the shop where everyone comes and hangs out for 8 hours and we have music and stuff like that. We've tried to do music, and well, before COVID, we would do like jazz Saturdays. We have like a dude with a saxophone show up and play for 4 hours, stuff like that, where it's more background, less of like a venue. But I guess on the other side of that, we really try to foster creativity in our staff, and I think when you do that, people that appreciate art are just gonna flock and come there. So yeah, we've met amazing people. The community is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think we also try our best. I know this word is so like a thing now, but we try to be authentic. We are all of our coffee is sourced from farmers we know personally. And I think when you try to really build that as an integral element of your brand, people gravitate to that, and people that are also authentic and creative and doing their thing. Like I guess that's our unsaid, unwritten goal with Velodrome or whatever, but it hopefully can inspire people to just do their thing. Like, just whatever your thing is, just do that as best you can and enjoy it. And that's our vibe. I think Paul and Amy have brought that to the company as well. Just focus on doing your thing.
Well, I like what you're saying because it's like you guys put out the effort first. Like I think that that's the thing that people completely miss about people. I don't think understand that relationships are what actually drive everything. And so when you put the effort toward a relationship and say, here's me and I want to contribute something, like we want to work with the best farmers and we want to encourage arts and artists and make that a thing with our space, you have to make that first move. Like I think people set up like half-assed venues for things, not venues in the physical sense, but just like a half-assed attempt to become involved with cool people doing cool things, and then the cool people don't show up and they're like, why does nobody love me? And it's like you didn't actually try. You didn't try to put yourself out there. You didn't try to make something that was unique and real. That's been by far my favorite thing about doing this podcast is I don't care about the things that I think you expect a podcaster to care about. Like I'm not looking at the downloads. I don't give a shit. I really don't, because every single person I've met on this podcast, and this is episode 30 something at this point with you guys, I then find that person and I have a really nice connection. People will message me, we'll comment on each other's stuff. There's the continuous thing because that's an actual relationship. That's how a relationship looks. And so I'm happy to have done 100 episodes and then find myself with 100 followers from Instagram. That'd be perfect. That's the exact number of people I made a relationship with. So great. But it takes time, and more time than I think a lot of people really want to put into it. They just want it to happen overnight.
Yep.
And go like that.
Yeah, gotta hustle, and the more you can hustle, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And try and be you and be honest. And like I said, be authentic, even though that's a buzzword right now.
Yeah, definitely like put your heart into whatever you're doing, and work your ass off. It takes both.
Right. Yeah. You can't be uncreative. Like you have to show up every time. It takes discipline and all that stuff. And but you guys get it. You're on the entrepreneur spirit. You know what it is. You know what it's all about.
We try.
You get it. But I think that's a really cool part of your story for sure. I can tell that about you guys. Got a lot of energy for the things that you're doing, and that is fantastic. So let people know where they can find you guys, because we've got a few Instagram profiles we've mentioned probably that people need to go look up. So Teagan, what are all the handles here?
Yeah, so I usually just use my Instagram for things, and it's at Teagan Olivia Sturmer, my full name, and then I also have Etsy, which is my store, which you can find through Instagram. I mean, you can find everything through Instagram. So if you just go to Instagram,
you can.
Then you're golden. Yeah.
Cool. And Brice, you have an Instagram too, but I just followed it, but I can't find it now.
It's just bikes. It's not that exciting. My Instagram's lame. I just take pictures of my bikes.
It's not lame. It's you.
That's what I do to relax. But it's Brice Stew.
Yeah, Brice.
It might be Brice.Stew.
No, it's not. It's just Brice Stew.
Brice Stew. And we have Velodrome Coffee Co. is where you can find Velodrome, and if you're in the Marquette area, grab some coffee. I certainly will be. I'll see you guys at some point. I know I have to go out there to run an errand at least, so I will swing by and get
Come on by.
decaf cappuccino with oat milk. That's my
Nailed
order.
it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
These are
really,
fucking
really
good.
hyper. Oh no, iced decaf. I'll be fine.
Yeah,
Aw.
you're fine.
Beautiful.
Here, this is Remus. This is our pup. Say hi. No, he doesn't want to.
Is that a Harry Potter reference?
Yeah, I do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's
Perfect.
of course. Yep.
That's the only good thing about our guinea pig is that he's named Mose after Mose
Yeah.
from The Office. Man, it's because it's specifically because he looks really stupid when he runs. So there's a connection. There's a connection there.
Oh, I love that so much.
Well, thank you to both of you. I hope that we actually get to meet up sometime. Andrea is obsessed now that we're up in this area with this area, so I guarantee we'll be back around when the world has sorted out this COVID thing, and hopefully we're a little more unified and feeling good. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do the video for listeners yet, because I think what I would like to do would be have the video available, but I don't want you to have to listen to that. So I'm probably going to do like an audio and video version from here out, but I'm looking into it, everybody. So I'll let you know. I have more podcasts coming here in the UP, so stay tuned. As always, thanks to our sponsor, Track Farms. Look, I have a camera. I can put it right on the screen. Track Farms for their CBD. Had some before the show. Feeling good. And thank you, obviously, to Brice and Teagan. It was lovely talking with you guys. I'd love to meet you at some point, and I'm sure that we will.
Yep.
So thanks, everyone, for listening. We will see you on the next episode.